Hey, how's it going? Cesar here, and I just wanted to give you some context on the video that you're about to watch. I run this challenge that's called the Recruit 10 People in 10 Days Challenge, where I essentially take people under my wing and coach them in their business and help them to recruit 10 people in 10 days. The results that I get from people are absolutely insane, and because of that, a lot of people want to stay a part of this group long term. And one of the things that I do to help the people who are a part of this group to really blow up their businesses on an ongoing basis is I answer their questions in video and continuously give them new trainings and give them new scripts and strategies to help them build their business. Now, this video that you're about to watch is actually taken from a clip of one of those trainings that I do on a weekly basis, where I answer our members' questions and help them to overcome objections that they're handling. If you're interested in joining one of the next challenges that I do and you'd like to get on the waiting list for one of them, feel free to look for a link around this video that'll give you more information about this challenge and when the next one that we're going to be doing is, and feel free to join it if you see value in it. Until then, enjoy this video. Ooh, I'm feeling gangster today. Today's training is going to be fire. I got some Q&A for you guys, and like I said, I'm just feeling a little extra gangster today because some of the stuff that I'm going to say is going to be very game-changing to those of you who are doing any kind of prospecting or recruiting, which should be literally all of you. And some of the things that I'm going to share with you are going to help you to get more referrals. They're going to help you to prospect better, and we've got some Q&A and some questions over here too that I'm going to answer here for you. One of which was how to get referrals when someone tells you that they don't know anyone. When you're done doing your presentation, they're like, "Hey, what? Like, you don't want to do anything? Hey, that's fine. Like, how do you get referrals?" So I'm going to answer that. I'm going to also answer a question about how do you recruit people when you're prospecting out there, when you're leading for more of a full-time opportunity, instead of saying like, hey, you know, if you saw a way where you could make some serious money and that didn't interfere with what you're already doing, you know, would that be something that you'd be interested in? And there's a power in doing that when it's someone that you're part-time recruiting, but if you're looking for full-time, you know, how do you tweak that? So that was one of the other questions that I got. And then I just want to share with you an experience I had recently prospecting, and a little bit about what I do and how I do it, and how much better it is. It's just so freaking gangster and so postured. Oh, it's so postured, the way that I recruit and the way that I prospect. See, the entire process that you do from your first impression to the part where you're asking for the order if you're selling them or you are trying to recruit them. A lot of that posture is set from the first impression. You know, and a lot of you guys are like wondering, well, what do I do on the back end? You know, I'm getting these objections that are like this and that are like this. And really the results of a lot of these objections you're getting is just because you're not coming across with that B10XB posture. You're not coming across with that be 10 times bolder posture where you're saying and doing and acting boldly, and the things you're saying are bold and they're spoken with confidence and authority and boldness, you know. And if you can just do a few little things here and there, oh, the difference that it makes. Oh, the difference that it makes. So I'll give you an example and I'll answer those two questions. So the other day I was going into a grocery store. So this is going to help you with prospecting and recruiting and the mindset that you have to have. So I'm going to share this story with you really quick, and then I'm going to show you the posture that I bring behind this, and then I'm going to transition into answering some of these questions I just mentioned. So I am going to this grocery store, and there are these two guys that are standing outside the grocery store, and what they're doing is they're kind of asking for donations for this, you know, cause, and it just says like Nature's Way or something on it, or Nature's Foundation. And you know, I see these guys, it's cold, you know, right now this time of year was just like a cold day, so these guys got like mittens on and they're out there taking orders, and you know, they're kind of like got like, you know, hoodies on, and I mean, I'm freaking out because it's cold, and I'm just like, man, that sucks, you know, that it's going to be cold from my walk, right? Like I'm complaining, like my car is parked in a garage, right? I pull my car out of my garage to go out, and literally the only time I have to deal with this cold is like to get out of my car, to cross the parking lot, and to get in there in the grocery store, and then that other transition back, which, you know, all said and done, it's about maybe like 2 minutes, a minute walk there, a minute walk back, and I'm over here like, man, this sucks. And I'm looking at these guys who have to be out here all day, and I'm just thinking, oh, That is brutal to have to be out here today. Like, man, I feel sorry for these guys, and no one's talking to them. So I'm thinking, we got two salesmen here. I walk in, to the grocery store, and then I walk out and I see, these two guys out there, all alone right in the corner. Like literally everyone that walks by is trying to not make eye contact. So I just decided to do the opposite. And I'm like, let me just go play. Let me just go have some fun with these two people. And I mean, they look bored as crap. Let me go entertain them. Let me give them someone to talk to that's other than them. Right? Instead of them just sitting there probably going, man, no one's coming up to us. Man, what do we do? Like, maybe we need to come up with a bit. Like, I'm like, let me just give them an easy person to talk to. And I want to learn about these guys because maybe they'd be good people to recruit into a business, right? I mean, they're out there probably not that excited about being out in the cold all day, and they're salespeople. At the end of the day, whatever they think they're doing, asking for donations, they are salespeople. I can show them a better way. I can introduce them to the network marketing opportunity, in the vehicle, right? Just the opportunity to get started with a company, like I could help change these guys' lives. Someone prospected me when I was working at the mall. I want you to remember that. I was a 21-year-old kid working at a mall, and someone asked me if I kept my options open, and I said yes. And because I said yes and I followed up, and I got started and I was coachable and I learned all these things that I did on my journey, right? And it introduced me to this whole world. Like it literally changed my life. And I went from being a 21-year-old broke college kid to making my first million by 29. So I know that a regular person, like a college kid or some guy that's just out there doing the most random thing, like that's somewhat salesy, right? I know that this person has a shot if they're made out of the right stuff. So for me, my posture and my mentality is, let me go see if this person's the right stuff or not. Let me go see if they're the right stuff. Let me see if there's another Cesar Rodriguez about to be birthed out of this moment. Like one of these people could become a millionaire. One of these people could literally change their life if they listen to me and do what I tell them to do. So I want you to think about this. Why are you ignoring people? Why are you thinking to yourself like, oh, I shouldn't talk to this person? Like, you could change their life. Like, what are you thinking, and why would you ignore that human being whose life you could change? Now for me, and this is what I want to encourage you to do, is carry yourself with the swag of a top earner, even before you're there. This is where that whole fake it till you make it expression that you may have heard comes from. It's act as if, right? Act as if you're already the number one money earner in your company. And if you have that type of posture, when you're out there prospecting and you start acting like that person would act, like what if you were already a millionaire in your network marketing company and you saw two guys like I did working at a booth, and you came from doing something similar to that, you would obviously believe like, okay, these guys might have what it takes, because anyone might have what it takes. But you don't know until you actually reach out to them and say what's up and try and find out, hey, are any of these people sharp? See, what's happening is most of us, we're going up to people worried about what they think of us and whether or not they're going to accept us and whether or not they're going to take us seriously. Well, that's not what I do. That's not what I've ever done once I figured this out. Right? I stopped doing this when I was like in my early 20s, like wondering if this person will like me or want to join my team. Like, I hope I say all the right things in the right sequence that'll get them to want to say, yeah, I'm interested. No, they're on audition. They're auditioning for me, and I'm going over there to see whether or not I like them for my team and my business. Do I want to take this person's phone calls? Do I want to give them my cell phone number? You guys get nervous about, oh, well, like, how do I get their number? Like, I'm not nervous about getting anyone's number. What I'm nervous about is who I let have my number. Do you see that difference in posture? This is what I teach. This is why you guys follow me. Big shout out to all of you in the Recruit 10 and 10 challenge who are a part of our group, in our challenge. Big ups to all you guys. I know that to me, that is more important. It's more important for me to wonder whether or not I want to allow that individual to have my personal cell phone number. It's an honor. It's an honor if I ask you for your phone number. That's B10XB posture. That's being 10 times bolder, that mindset. So to me, I'm wondering who the sharpest one in this mix is. Some of you guys saw my video way back in the day. It was one of my first YouTube videos to go over 100,000 views. And it was how to prospect like a headhunter. And I talk about when you're approaching groups, like, hey, here's what you say. And this is a video I did way long ago. I was like super young when I did that video. So don't judge me on the like baggy suit and all that type of stuff. That was before I had like custom tailors and all that stuff, right? And I thought I needed to be fancy and dress in suits in my videos, right? Well, in that video, I talk about when there's multiple people and how to go out and specifically, prospect and be very direct. Well, in a situation like that, and in a situation like this, it's very similar. I share that same concept of, to me, I'm like, who's the best salesperson here? That's what I want to know. Who's the best? I want to immediately get these guys competing against each other to audition like, oh, whoa, who's the best? Like, oh, it's me. No, what? I'm the best. I already want them in the state of them having to sell themselves to me, which is what I teach in the reverse recruiting method and that entire formula and that entire thing that I teach. You guys in the Recruit 10 and 10 Challenge, you should have a video of that, inside of our group. I've got a video, it's under the bonus video section where I teach about how to get your prospects to sell themselves to you. So all of you in the Recruit 10 and 10 Challenge community, just go into the unit section, go ahead and watch that video. It's in the bonus section, and it is fire. Right? It is fire. All you have to do to go ahead and do this and to start this process in a situation like this and to start to get them feeling like they need to sell themselves to each other is you let them know that they're in a little competition and they kind of start to wonder like, whoa, what are we even competing for? So that's why sometimes the salespeople will be like, all right, so I got to know who's the best salesperson here. And that immediately gets them competing to try and impress me. And we've already begun the psychological process, that puts them in that frame where, hey, I'm the interviewer. You need to sell yourself to me. And they don't even know who I am yet. Right? Do you see that? And that's what that whole reverse recruiting method is about. Like, it's this entire start to finish flow on how to do this strategically and get your prospects to sell themselves to you instead of the other way around, which is what everyone else in the industry has taught for years. And I'm the one that created this method that's the total opposite. So one of the things that I do is in that situation, I didn't use this line, but I do mention that in the headhunter video that I have on YouTube, right? So this is a little bit more advanced. This method, what I did to these two guys is I started talking to them. I noticed that they were both sharp. I was like, so what's the pitch? Okay, cool. And then they tried to close me. And I was just like, all right, that's cool. Hey man, I appreciate the presentation. And I thought that was a pretty good structure. I like the way that you pitched it. Now I'm starting to like tell them what I like about them, right? It's like I'm now complimenting them on their sales skills. I'm like, hey man, I really like the way that you built rapport there, the way that you said this. I really like how you did that thing where you went to go close me and you kind of reduced it. And I like the interaction, how you tried to get me. So I'm starting to size them up and they're already like, whoa, who is this guy? He's like a sales expert. Right? I'm already establishing myself as an authority, and I'm like, hey, listen, I like what you guys did over here. I see you're out here in the cold, marketing this. You seem passionate about it. You guys are obviously pretty good salespeople over here, but I'm sure you're not too excited about being outside in this freezing cold today, right? And they're going, yeah, no, we're not excited about that. I'm getting them dissatisfied a little bit with what they're doing while complimenting them, and I'm going like, well, listen, I can't promise you anything, but I happen to work with a company that's doing a ton of expanding in this area, and they're looking for some people. Now, I can't promise you anything, but you guys both seem pretty sharp. I just want to know, do you keep your options open when it comes to other opportunities? And I look at the one guy, and he goes, and I said, that's a no. And then I turned to the other guy. So I rejected him. I said, he was thinking about whether he kept his options open. He's like, well, I don't. And I just said, hey, that's a no. Like, you're done. And then I turned to the other guy and I'm like, do you keep your options open when it comes to other opportunities? And he all of a sudden just saw like, whoa, this guy is not trying to sell us on anything. He just shut down my man over there and took the whole opportunity off the table away from him. And now he's asking me. And I already know what's going to happen if I hesitate. I just saw him do it to my man over here. Holy crap. He just said, nope, you're out. How about you, buddy? And that willingness to walk away creates that posture that you need to start the process of prospecting someone successfully and positioning them in such a way to where they feel like they're on a freaking interview and that they better not mess anything up. Because I just said, hey, listen, I respect what you're doing. I literally just let them know what a freaking boss I was by complimenting their sales pitch. And then I went ahead and did a strong takeaway the minute I'm like, hey, do any of you guys want a better opportunity, right? Who does that? Someone that's like a person of authority, right? Like, hey, maybe I can recruit you into this company. Maybe I can get you a position. You know, I wouldn't say maybe I can recruit you, because that, even those words, recruit you, it's like I'm trying to get them. I don't want them to even think that, right? I'm making them audition. And then you know what I do? And then so this guy goes, oh, yeah, I do. Yeah, I keep my options open, because he just saw me reject this other guy. He's curious. They both want to know what's going on. And then so I'm like, okay, so here's the deal. And I start talking to these two guys, right? But I'm primarily just looking at the one guy that said yes and kind of like snuffing the other guy a little bit, giving him attention so he doesn't feel like I'm totally giving him the cold shoulder, but not giving him, any love. I'm giving him glances as I tell my story to acknowledge his existence, but I'm focused over here, on the guy that just told me he was open. Because now I'm just strengthening that takeaway, like, yo, bro, you're out. Like, you're out. But I love you, but you're not the focus anymore, because you told me no. You said that you hesitated to give me a yes. To me, that's as good as a no. The fact that I told him that, man, this dude was fiending for this thing. I could feel it. But I just ended up talking to this guy, and I got his information. I said, okay, great. Here's what we'll do. Let's shoot me a message. We'll talk. To me, I like to put people, I'd like to tell people to follow my Instagram, instead of giving them even my phone number nowadays. But this is just me, because this is how I build and how I talk to people and how I recruit. I have a very strong Instagram. So that's what I like to do, because for me, it just cuts straight to the chase. It lets them know if he had any suspicions about whether or not I was a freaking boss, they know when they hit my IG. So I like to do that instead of just getting someone's phone number. If you have a pop-in Instagram or Facebook, then you can go ahead and use that. Or if you don't, just get their phone number, right? And that way they can't see anything about you. So like if you don't have a good internet marketing presence, or if you don't have good online personality or presence, the good thing is you don't have to give them any of your social information. You can literally just be whoever you want to be by inventing yourself, whatever type of posture or boldness you have in that moment. That's how they're going to remember you if they don't see you elsewhere. So if your Instagram, your Facebook profiles and stuff, it's weak, then, just get their phone number like most people do, like you all should do, right? But I get the guys, Instagram, I tell them message me or whatever. And, now we're back in communication. And now he hits me up and he's like, hey, can you tell me more about this opportunity? So what I did is at that point, as I said, I shot him a voice clip and I was just like, hey man, I sure can. Now this is a new technique that you can use, right? I like making people really work for it, especially if I meet them out and it's someone that, I want to potentially prospect or recruit. And I want to continue to build that authority by having this person do some little missions for me. And I told him, I said, hey, look, here's the deal. I'm happy to tell you about this company, this opportunity, that I had mentioned earlier. But here's the deal. Like, before I pass your name along to any of the higher ups or the people that I would introduce you to, what I just kind of want to make sure is that you have the right mindset. I would like you to listen to these 2 podcast episodes. And when you finish listening to these 2 podcast episodes, give me a ring back, because then I'll know that you're of the right mindset and that you're serious about doing something different. Because if you can't take this first little step, then, and listen to 2 episodes to get your mind right, and for me to find out if you've got the right mindset, if you listen to those 2 episodes and you're still not the type of person that and I talk to you and I don't feel like you're the type of person that we'd be looking for, we'd want to work with, then there's no point in even interrupting my senior partner's time. So do you see what I did there? I'm basically giving this person a couple of hurdles to jump in order to prove themselves to me, because I want to hear their mindset. I want to help to program them and to get their mind right and positioned to even want to do what I'm doing, and to have the open-mindedness and the drive and the hunger to want to move forward. And the podcast episodes that I have him listen to are on the podcast Be 10 Times Bolder, and I have him listen to episodes 1 and 2. So the first 2 episodes of Be 10 Times Bolder, right? You know, the name of my podcast. This is my podcast, but it works just as good if it's for me or if it's for you, because the benefit is the first 2 episodes, the first episode's 11 minutes long, and it tells you exactly what to do to eliminate the 3 enemies of success and to become a 10 times bolder version of yourself. If you have not listened to my podcast, Be 10 Times Bolder, spell it out, right? Completely, every word. Put it in whatever Apple podcasts. If you've got Spotify, you can do it on Spotify. You can listen to it on Google Podcasts. Subscribe to this thing if you haven't already. If you guys follow me and you haven't subscribed to my podcast is like the best content I've ever made. Like, it's the best. If you guys like my YouTube videos, my content videos like this, my podcast is gonna blow you away, because it's like it's such high production. It's just badass, dude. It's so badass. But those first 2 episodes, for those of you watching this, if you're trying to recruit someone, I basically teach them the 3 enemies of success: fear, indecision, and doubt, right? So I help to eliminate from this person's mind the desire to be fearful, to be hesitant. You know, I'm programming them to be decisive and to ask themselves, what would I do if I was 10 times bolder? What would I do if I was 10 times bolder? So now if you're going to go offer an opportunity to someone that's going to involve a risk, right? They're going to have to pay money to join. Maybe they'll succeed. Maybe they won't. They've got fear in their head. They're indecisive. Should they do it? Should they think about it? And they're being like a little timid and not wanting to take risks. If they listen to that first episode alone, when they see that opportunity, you can say, hey, you listened to the first episode, right? If they're kind of hesitant, you can say, hey, listen, I can appreciate that. You know, you saw the presentation. I can appreciate maybe you're just a little scared or concerned. You know, you did listen to that first podcast episode, right? On Be 10 Times Bolder. You know, and that question, you know, you could say, I know exactly how you feel. I felt the same way. But, you know, I followed this guy, Cesar Rodriguez, and he taught me to ask this question. You know, you probably remember it. Remember the question? It's, what would you do if you were 10 times bolder? Anytime you feel fear, anxiety, indecision, or doubt, just ask yourself, what would I do if I was 10 times bolder? Remember that question? Yeah. Did you vibe with that message? Yeah, no, I totally did. I totally did. And in the second episode, I go into my story and how from asking myself that question and being 10 times bolder in my life, how I went from being a 21-year-old broke college kid to making my first $1 million by 29. And I reference and even like eliminate misconceptions about network marketing, because that was the vehicle that got me there. Basically, they hear a story. If they listen to the second one, they hear a story of a guy that got started in this home, you know, work from home business that cost money, and it was a big amount of money to me, but I did it anyway. And because I asked this question, because I read these books, and because I did that, I ended up, you know, changing my life and becoming a millionaire and all this type of stuff, right? Like, I'm literally sharing that example with someone. Do you think that if you show them an opportunity afterwards that just taught them to be bold, and they just heard about a story about a guy that, because he was bold and said yes to a business similar to the one that you're showing them, he changed his life and became this, you know, amazing person that I am today, right? If they just finished hearing that and they're following me on Instagram or something like that, or they're like this, you put your people to the podcast and tell them to follow me on Instagram. Say, hey, this is one of my mentors. This is one of my friends. This is a guy that, you know, is, and I am one of your mentors. Even if I'm not your personal coach and mentor, like if I'm not calling you every day, if you follow me and you're watching my content, I'm one of your mentors virtually, right? If you're in our Recruit 10 and 10 challenge, I'm your direct mentor, right? If you're a part of that group, and for those of you that don't know, I'll put a link to it or something, you know, recruit10and10.com, the numbers. Yeah, I'll just say it, recruit1010.com/challenge. It'll take you to the page where you can join this 10-day blitz challenge that I do, you know, with everyone. And then you can choose to stay a part of the group long term if you like it. The power in doing this type of stuff is it pre-frames your prospect. And then when you show them an opportunity, Boom. They're already like, yo, dude, I was thinking I need to find something like that Cesar guy did. And boom, here you are with an opportunity. Man, the guy just talked about how he found this opportunity and some guy mentored him. Man, that sounds so cool. I want that. And then you show up with an opportunity and you're like, hey, this is just like that thing that Cesar did. It's a different company, right? But it's that same type of industry. They're in. So I tell this guy, for me to follow up on him, I tell him to listen to these podcast episodes before I have him watch a video or anything about a business opportunity. Because now this person's going to be so prepped and framed, and if like they don't have the money or something, you can be like, hey, what would you do if you're 10 times bolder? You have something of rapport to talk with them about when you follow up. You're like, hey, yeah, so you listen to both episodes of the podcast, 1 and 2? And if they watch 3, they're going to be even more in. I'll just tell you that right now. 3 is nasty with teaching you how to be 10 times bolder in every area of your life. And the stories that I share, and like that's the ultimate training on how to be bolder. You have someone listen to the first 3, but I'll just have someone listen to the first 2. But if they keep listening, oh, they're going to be sewing. I mean, this is a recruiting tool for you, really, my podcast. And it's a free one. So do you think if you follow up on that person, you're not going to be more open-minded? They're going to be so much more open-minded. And so that's why I use that, because it's also an opportunity to talk with that person before I even talk about business. Say, hey, great, so did you listen to those 2 podcast episodes? You said you did? Great, cool. What do you like best about them? Oh man, I really like this. Cool. Did you like that movement? The be 10 times bolder movement, to ask yourself that question? I committed to it and it's changed my life. How about you? Are you committing to it? Oh yeah, I'm going to commit to it. Yeah, all you got to do is ask yourself that question. What would you do if you were 10 times bolder? Get a rubber wristband. Did you get the free one from Cesar that he sends everyone that's one of his podcast listeners? Yeah, man, look, I'm rocking mine, right? Think about this conversation on a follow-up call or before your presentation. And now all of a sudden it's like, yeah, man, no, I'm committed to being bolder. Okay, great, awesome. So here's this opportunity that I was telling you about. How much higher do you think your closing percentage is going to be on that person? So much higher. So that's what I did to follow up with this guy. And that's what you guys can do, right? So this just happened the other day. So I don't have the after story or anything about like whether or not he gets in or not. But here's the thing. I don't care if he gets in or not. I really don't. I'm just here to show this person it and to see how bad they want it. But I'm going to be so postured in that process that it's not going to be a thing that person ever feels for a second that I want him in. It's going to be like, yo, I'm doing you a favor, man. Like, you're welcome. That's the posture that you guys need to have. That's that B10XB posture. And all you guys who are part of the B10XB movement and our B10XB Facebook group, right? The B10XB movement Facebook group. All you that are part of that, big shout out to you. All of you guys that have mentally committed already, you're rocking your B10XB wristbands, and you remember to ask yourself, what would I do if I was 10 times bolder? And if you don't do it, you pull back and you snap. You're part of the movement, baby. Link pain to not being bold, and all of a sudden you'll find that you'll start to take the bolder path, and you'll start doing what you come up with when you ask yourself, what would I do if I was 10 times bolder? Anytime you feel fear, indecision, or doubt. That's the official movement B10XB wristband. Copy one, b10xb.com/free-band. Pop in your info, shipping info. I'll send you one for free. I'll send you one of these wristbands for free on the house. Just cover the shipping, whatever it is, to your house, wherever you live in the world. But I'll ship it anywhere in the world. I don't care. Does that make sense? Does that help? Does that change the game for some of you, that posture? I hope you felt that. I hope you really resonated with that message. And with that being said, I want to roll into some Q&A and answer these 2 questions that I talked about earlier, that were asked earlier. So question number 1, how do you get referrals from someone who tells you they don't have any referrals? Well, here's typically what's happening. When you ask someone after a presentation, hey, so you're not interested in doing business with us here, that's okay. Who do you know that might be interested? What ends up happening is a person's mind goes, who do I know that would be interested in this thing that I'm not going to do? Or even if it's a thing that they do, who do I know that's interested? They have to scan the entire world of everyone they know, then assume whether or not that person, they have to guess whether or not this person will be interested. Very few people are even going to come up with a person, because that's too high of a demand to ask of the brain. So you ask an easier question. You want to focus them. Instead of saying, who do you know that would be interested? Ask them if they have someone in a certain profession. Hey, do you know anyone who owns a business? Ask them, say, hey, listen, that's totally fine. That's cool. This is something that you're interested in. But hey, can I ask you a quick question? Who do you know that owns a business? And they're instantly going to go, oh, my friend Charles owns a business. Oh, okay, cool. So he's an entrepreneur, Charles. What kind of business does he own? Oh, he owns XYZ hardware store across the street. Oh, that's awesome. Cool. Okay. Well, hey, let me just do this. So let me ask you this. Our company, we actually are looking for people specifically that have experience in that. And I would like to ask him a couple questions and if he might know anyone else that's entrepreneurs, because typically one entrepreneur knows several entrepreneurs. So if you don't mind, I'd like to give him a call, find out if he knows any other entrepreneurs and any other local business owners, and maybe he could steer me in the right direction for someone that this thing would be better fit for. Because I totally understand if you're a teacher, teachers, a lot of times they don't really the real people that get involved in this are the boom. And I'll just take it away and I'll say, hey, who do you know like that? And once they've given me that person's name, that's the person that I'll go through. And I'll say, cool, do you know any other business owners? Who else do you know that owns a business? And then I'll switch it up and say, hey, do you know anyone, who do you know in sales? Who do you know in sales? You have a car out there. Who's your car salesman? You remember who your car salesman was? Did they do a good job? And you run right through them and ask for specific professions or specific types of people. For example, hey, let me ask you a question. As a type of person, who's the most successful person you know? Who's the most successful person you know? Who's the most fit person that you know? Someone that goes to, Pilates classes every week, someone that's in CrossFit, someone that's, right? Target your perfect person. Take advantage of that no and turn it into an opportunity to find your ideal prospect. Okay? Now, next question was how to prospect someone for a full-time opportunity. Because a lot of times in some of the pitches that you guys hear that I share for prospecting, I say something like, oh, if it didn't interfere with what you're already doing. When I'm prospecting, like if you saw a way where you can make some pretty serious money inside and it didn't interfere with what you're already doing, would that be something that you'd be interested in? And I'm going to share something with you. This is controversial because I've heard a lot of people say, don't use the word interested in and say open. And here's the problem with that. This is my personal take. If I was to end that sentence saying, and this is so controversial, I'm about to say the opposite thing of what so many of you guys have heard from company trainers. Good ones are teaching this. Good ones are teaching this. And this is just my personal belief. But they're saying things like, don't ask someone if they'd be interested, ask them if they'd be open. So if I was to say that sentence, hey, if you saw a way you can make some pretty serious money on the side and it didn't interfere with what you're already doing, would that be something that you'd be open to? Now, most people will say, yeah, I'd be open to it. But you saying, would you be open to that? Still has a slight fragrance of you wanting them to say yes. It sounds too much like you're trying to set them up to say, yes, of course I'd be open. But I don't like doing that because it sounds like, hey, would you be open? It sounds like I'm selling that to them, right? Just the feel of that is like, hey, would that be something you'd be open to? Because everyone knows that if you ask, would you be open to it? It's like so obvious that you're setting them up to say, yes, I would be open to it. But in my posture, in the way that I like to teach, and the vibration that I like to give off, is not one where I'm trying to get you to say you're open. I'm trying to find out the real deal. Hey, would that be something you'd be interested in? Because if you're interested, then I may be able to blank, introduce you to this, set up an appointment. It's like, hey, would you be open to that? Because if you'd be open, it just doesn't feel the same. Interested is a more neutral term. It's like, would you be interested? Yes or no? It's all I want to know. Would they be interested? I don't need them to want to be open. Everyone's open. I want them to be interested. Open is not, it doesn't create enough commitment. It doesn't create enough commitment. Yeah, I'd be open to it versus, yes, I'd be interested in that. It's not the same level of commitment. Do you feel it? Say like, yeah, I'd be open to that, or I'd be interested in that. That's just a firm commitment. And I want to grab a firm commitment and let my prospect know that I don't care whether you say yes or no. I'm not trying to give you a word that's going to make you want to feel like you have to say yes. I'll even say sometimes after I ask questions, yes or no. Say, would that be something that you'd be interested in? Yes or no. Do you feel that difference? If I said that to you, hey, is this something that you'd be interested in? Yes or no. That lets them know, like, this person is looking for a clear cut yes or no answer, no games. They don't care about what I say. They just want to know yes or no. They don't want to hear a story. They don't want to hear excuses. They don't want to hear a yes or no. That's the way that I prospect, baby. So what I end up doing in these situations is if it's going to be someone that I want to prospect full time, I'll simply ask them, and I'll use the other things that we share inside our Recruit 10 and 10 challenge. If you look at the second video, it's on prospecting. Watch that entire, it's one of the best prospecting trainings I've ever done in one video. The only thing better is my Reality Networker Prospecting Mastery course, where it's live footage of me prospecting people in the streets that you can get on my blog or whatever if you guys haven't seen that, right? That course is the best training in prospecting in the world because I'm literally prospecting people through hidden cameras and recording an entire play-by-play of what I said and how I said it and how I did it. Like, that's the most gangster training in the history of prospecting training. No one else has ever done that and showed you, like, hey, here's me walking up to people, prospecting them, and then giving you the psychology of what I said and why I said it right down to the T. Hey, if you notice, I said this because this generates that. And you guys can tell already how precise I am with psychology. You can already tell because, I mean, think about, like, I just finished giving you an entire spiel about why open versus interested and what word creates more commitment and is stronger. So imagine me giving you 20 breakdowns of that level of precision on, hey, here's why I said this to this person. Did you see how they told me they were interested in open here? Here's why, because I planted this seed beforehand. And I mean, you guys already see the psychology of what I teach. Also, just when I just said, even with my podcast, how the first 3 episodes are psychologically attuned to help you optimize recruiting so that when you share it with your prospects, they're ready to make bold decisions and to get started before they even see a presentation. That's the level of psychology that I put into everything that I do because that's my expertise. I'm an expert in human psychology, in persuasion, and in neurolinguistic programming, and everything to do with getting people to say yes and to be able to move and persuade them. That's literally my expertise. So that's what I do in that course. I give an entire breakdown of what I say and how I say it. And if you guys have ever seen that course, go ahead and feel free to drop a comment if you've got that course. It's gangster. But the second best training I ever did in one video is inside of the Recruit 10 and 10 challenge. It's a video, honestly, I should charge like freaking $2,000 and make that a prospecting course. But that's all part of the Recruit 10 and 10 challenge for like $97. It's like one video out of 20 plus that we have in that group. But check that out, Module 2 on prospecting. But the thing is, if you're going to talk to someone, you're going to prospect them, and you want it to be full-time, just take out the part where you say, if it didn't interfere with what you're already doing. You could say something different like, hey, if you saw a way where you can make some pretty serious money, and even potentially an opportunity to make 6 figures, you have to check with your company's compliance rules or whatever. I don't know if you're in affiliate marketing, network marketing, whatever, right? But I don't ever guarantee things. I just say, hey, look, if you saw a way where you can make some pretty serious money or a career full-time. A lot of times what I'll do, if I'm trying to prospect someone full-time, I'll say a way where you could make some pretty serious money on the side or a pretty significant full-time income, like a ridiculously significant full-time income, and it didn't interfere with what you're already doing. Would that be something you'd be interested in? All you have to do is just take out the if it didn't interfere with what you're already doing, if you're trying to give them a career change. And a lot of times we'll just ask them, say, hey, who do you know? I'll go indirect sometimes and I'll say, hey, look, who do you know that is sharp, business-minded, and keeping their options open and looking for an opportunity or would be interested in an opportunity where they can make some pretty serious money on the side or a career where they could make 6 figures? Who do you know like that? Sometimes I'll go indirect and they'll go, well, me. I'll go, oh, really? Tell me about yourself. What do you do? Tell me, right? If I haven't already gotten that information. Because sometimes I'll open up with that super fast. So I talk to someone and they're pretty sharp and I just want to be like, a professional networker, like if I want to wear that hat for the moment, right? Be like a professional networker and just say, hey, listen, I'm doing some networking out here because I'm working with a company that's doing a lot of expanding in this area. And then you could ask them that question, who do you know? And then they might say, oh, what is it? Who are you? What is this about? Like, and I'll say, oh, when you say, yeah, are you looking for yourself, or do you have someone already that you're thinking in mind? No, I'm thinking for myself. Oh, full-time, something you can make money on the side, or are you looking for a career change where you can make 6 figures? And right then, I'm already asking them questions, and whoever's asking questions is in control. So that, my friends, is your weekly training inside the Recruit 10 and 10 Challenge, one out of several videos that we have in here, right? There's the 10 core videos, and then we do weekly training. So I don't know, I think this is maybe like week 14 or something of the challenge. So, so I don't even know. This is a late one. All I know is that we're up there. So there is this video and tons of other videos inside of this challenge, where every week I do a live training like this and I give a really strong Q&A. And the reason I'm saying some of this is because this video right here, I think somewhere along the lines of it, I decided that I was going to record this one, and I might just take this one and post it somewhere like on my YouTube channel, just to give everyone a taste of what is inside this Recruit 10 and 10 challenge. This is the type of stuff that everyone inside of this group gets every single week from me, and you can ask me questions and I answer them. And I just wanted to give a big shout out to everyone in here inside the Recruit 10 and 10 challenge, and to everyone who's not yet a part of it. You guys already just got a taste test of what you can get. Recruit 10 and 10 challenge every day. You get a new video that will teach you how to recruit 10 people in 10 days. The psychology of prospecting, closing. Honestly, this course, if I had to make it again, it would probably go for easily $3,000. I would easily charge $3,000 for what's inside this course for $97. But the reason is I said the price. It was $97. A little fun fact about this challenge. I created the challenge and said it's going to be $97 for 10 days of training from me, helping you to recruit 10 people in 10 days. And I just went all in the first video, and I was like, holy crap, that was video 1. After the pre-training, I did a pre-training, gave all these documents on how to like crazy stuff to just like, hey, here's what you do to recruit 10 people in 10 days. Here's your outline. Here's your, I gave documents, and then I gave the pre-training, and then already people were like, whoa, the pre-training was worth $97. And then I did the first training, and it was like 2 hours, and it was like my entire process and like what I did to be a top 3 recruiter in a company with over 400,000 people. And I'm just like, yo, here's what I said, here's what I did. And everyone by the first video, they were like, this was $97? Holy crap. This is the first video. I got my money's worth like the first 30 minutes in video 1, right? And then I just was like, whew, man, I over-delivered on that. And then I did video 2 on prospecting, my favorite topic in the world, one of my favorites, that and closing. And then I did it again, and everyone was like, holy crap, I can't believe we only paid $97 for this. This is insane. What did Cesar just do? Because like I said, that was like probably the best prospecting training I ever did outside of the actual course that I charge $500 for. Like, I did that for free for everyone that was in that group. And I had a conversation with myself. I was like, holy crap, dude, I am giving them way too much value for $97. Like, I am ripping myself off. I should have charged $1,000 for this thing. And then I was like, all right, I'll tone it down in video 3. Video 3, Cesar, go like 80%. And then I went 100% again and gave like one of the best closing formula trainings I've ever done. And everyone in there is freaking out, and everyone's saying how this entire course should have been $5,000. I can't even believe it. This is crazy. I can't believe how much Cesar's given away. But I just charged $97 for it. And I did that times 10. And everyone loved it absolutely so much. And they loved how the 10 core training videos. And then I had all these bonus videos in there. Like my bonus video on the reverse recruiting method is like an hour, I think. It's over an hour too. Just like extra bonus video. Another video is me talking at a private event. like never before released footage where it's like my stage training on how I train company sales forces and reps. Like companies pay me tens of thousands of dollars to go in and do this. And I'm just like, here's my training for free. It's all part of the group, right? So all that stuff is in there. So if you decide that you want to join, you can join it again, and you literally get all of the replays of all those videos I just mentioned. And you go through them each in 10 days, and you get live interaction from me inside our messenger chat and group, and you can ask me questions, and I answer them right away, and I'm essentially your mentor during this process. It's literally the best thing I ever created for the least amount of money I've ever charged of anything I've ever put together. So it's an experiment. It's still going. If you're watching this video, you can find out. Go to recruit10and10.com/challenge, and I'll try and put a link below or something on there if you want to check it out. But it is fire. It is fire. So you can go there. You can find out when the next challenge is going on, and you can sign up for it. You can join the challenge. You can get all these trainings and a whole lot more, plus all this and weekly training. So this was just one little sample week of training. And as you can see, we have fun here, right? And we spit fire. So thank you guys so much. Appreciate you. All my Recruit 10 and 10 familia, all my B10XB familia. And if you haven't listened to the podcast yet, Be 10 Times Bolder, make sure that you do it and use it on your prospects and have your entire team listen to it and teach them that they can use it on their prospects, but just them listening to it will help them be better, stronger reps on your team and in your company. So if that's not your number one thing that you're doing, one of your top training things, hey, you have to give people personal development when you get them started. If you're starting your people off, if you're recruiting people and you're not giving them any personal development, then you are missing out. When I got started in network marketing, it was mandatory listening that I had to listen to Jim Rohn, Building Your Network Marketing Business. Classic CD. That was mandatory. I got 100 of them, and every time I recruited someone, here you go. Drive home listening to this. Because it'll program you, and it'll make you not want to quit, and it'll make sure you understand how you need to present yourself to people. Great classic training. So my podcast is essentially that you can use, but for prospecting and recruiting, and it's free. You can just link someone it, whether they have an iPhone or a Droid. You know, you can have them say it, type in Be 10 Times Bolder in a podcast playing platform, listen to this before our meeting, and recruit them. That much easier. All right, that's it for now, guys. Appreciate you. Big love to everyone watching. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you being fans of the content that I put out. Hope you got some great value from this. And be sure to check me out on Instagram. If you haven't already, Cesar L. Rodriguez, just type in my name. Look for the one with the blue check. Just make sure you spell it right. Do your homework. Spell it right, Cesar, right? And I will look forward to connecting with you guys. And if you watch this video and you got value from it, feel free to drop a comment. Let me know. Show me some love over here and connect with me anywhere else. I'd love to hear from you. Just let me know that you saw this training video. And also, if you decide to join our Facebook group, the B10XB movement, just like on my shirt, B10XB movement, you can type that in and just say that you saw this video, and we will accept you into this private group. All right. Thank you guys so much. Take care and have a great day.